Hey guys, welcome back to Elvis Car Reviews. I hope that every single one of you is having a beautiful day. In today's video, we are going to check out 3 BMW performance vehicles and speak to their owners and ask them which one is the best and why. Like which one makes the best daily driver, which one responds well to mods, which one is, I won't say cheaper to own, but is convenient to own, which one is more reliable, and why they pick the particular vehicle they have. Obviously, every single one of them will be a little bit biased toward their own vehicle, which makes sense, but at the end of the video you guys will be able to decide after hearing their reason for picking their specific vehicle. So we have here a BMW M3 competition with the 4-liter V8 engine, and here we have the BMW M4 CS, and here we have a BMW M2 CS as well. We're here with the owner of this beautiful BMW M2 CS. The first question we're going to ask him why he went for the M2 over the M4 or the M3.
Yeah, so I chose the M2 because I like the smaller versions of the cars. I like the, I didn't really want the M4 because it, was just a little bit bigger in general. And I like the way this one handles and feels, and just so much smoother and quicker.
When purchasing the car, which one was your main goal? Straight line speed, handling, or?
It was all of it. I mean, handling, yeah, the track edition, because I do plan on tracking this at some point. And then the manual, because I wanted to feel more in control with it. So. Okay. And how does this car perform as a? It's not a daily driver, is it? No.
Okay.
No.
But for a drive, like if you want to take it out on Sunday for a drive, does it handle? Is it harsh? Is it smooth to drive, or how?
Oh, it's very smooth. So I had a M2 40i prior to this that I traded in for. In comparison, it was night and day. I mean, even driving it on the highways, it's just so much smoother because it does have the adaptive suspension. It is night and day compared to the 240.
Nice. And what's the power figure on this car?
So it's supposed to have 444 wheel horsepower and 406 foot-pounds of torque.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's based off the M4 M3 S55 motor, so it's got the same ratings. I know the M2 comp is a little detuned from there. Okay. But yeah, they gave this one the right amount of power.
And so, so this is the most powerful of the M2 lineup?
Yeah, yes it is.
Okay, so you have the M2 CS and then the competition and the regular M2?
Right.
Is that where, okay.
Yes.
Interesting. And what would you say about the other two cars?
Well, aside from them being great, I mean, being that the M4 has, again, the same motor as the M2 CS, same amount of power stock, from the factory, you can't really pass up the E92 though because of that V8. It's definitely, I mean, the sound, almost 9,000 RPM rev ranges are great. But I mean, they're all great cars for sure. But
would you trade your M2 for an M4?
I would not. Not at all.
Okay. And so, I mean, what advice would you give to people who are planning to buy M2 in the future? Like, what do they need to look for?
So, I mean, it depends on really what you're looking into. It is pricey for what you get, but if it's something that you think you're gonna stick with for the rest of your life, then it's definitely worth getting for sure. I mean, they're reliable. They're great cars all around. I would not pass this up for any other vehicle if you tried. Even the higher end vehicles. This is literally my dream car, so I got it and I'm good with it.
You're keeping it forever?
I'm gonna be keeping this guy forever. Yep.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for answering our questions.
Thank you.
first question, why did you go for the M3?
So the most important thing I really like about this car is the high revving, normally aspirated V8 and the sound and the full balance of the car, meaning the acceleration, the braking, the cornering, the suspension feel. I think it's the whole package.
And were you disappointed when, are you disappointed that the new M3s don't come with the V8?
Yes, I was. And I was disappointed very that they changed to turbos for emission laws. But yeah, I was.
Interesting. Okay. So next to you have a BMW M4 and M2. Would you ever trade in your car for one of the two?
No, I would not, because I think this is one of a kind. It's the last V8.
Yeah.
It has it's better sounding. I think it has also a classic look to it that I don't think with time is gonna fade away. And of course, I like my color more.
As far as day-to-day ownership, is it reliable? Is it comfortable to drive? Or
so any car has its issues, but with the M3 V8, the main issues are the rod bearings, the throttle actuators, the oil valve cover gaskets.
How often do they go out?
So the rod bearings don't just go out. I mean, when you buy a car, you have to understand who was the previous owner, what oil they used, what if they did the maintenance and their oil changes correctly. But technically, the V8, the S65 motor, is very reliable in these cars. But it needs proper maintenance like any other sports cars out there.
When you first bought it, what was your primary reason? Is it straight line speed or handling?
No, I brought it initially to go to the track with it.
Okay.
So it was more about cornering feel, the hydraulic steering, the seating position, everything in the car.
And you told me this car isn't stock. You've done.
Yeah, so it's fully tuned by Dynan. Okay. It makes around 500 horsepower in the crank engine, which is about 410 wheel horsepower.
Okay. Now it's rear-wheel drive, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And what advice would you give to people that are in the market for this specific M3? What do they have to look for?
So they have to look for the lowest mileage M3 they can get, the most recent one, which is a 2013, and make sure to buy one with all the service maintenance history. Don't cheapen out there. Buy the ones that are the most well maintained, with a service history record, and you should be reliable for a long time.
And what's the fair price to pay for one of those, you think?
I mean, right now as we speak,
what do they shouldn't not pay more than?
I would say if you're paying more than 60,000, there's something. I think.
Got ripped off?
Well, not depending how many miles, but I would not pay more than 60,000 for one right now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for answering.
All right, thank you.
Now it's turn to talk about the BMW M4. First of all, what do you think about the BMW M4?
I think as a daily driver, it is phenomenal. The low-end torque makes it the commute around town very easy. It has plenty of power, very quick, very nice modern interior, and I think the styling, the exterior styling looks phenomenal.
Would you get this over the M3 4-door?
So it really depends of the owner. Some people like the M3 4-door because it has the wide body look compared to the 4 Series F82. But I've always been a two-door fan. So to me, an M4 looks more sporty than an M3 4-door.
Yeah.
If you have kids and you have a family and you want something sporty, I would say go with the F80.
Okay.
But if you're young and single, or just two young couple, I would say M4 all day long.
M4, okay. And speaking about the M4, it's pretty much basically M3 with 2 doors. Does it affect the performance? Like, is it faster than the M3?
No, there's actually only very minimal weight difference between the M4 and the M3. I think it's like 40 pounds difference.
Oh, really?
So there's not much the performance difference. It's just the look.
Okay.
They both brake the same, accelerate the same. I've seen stats actually of the M3 being a tad quicker than the M4.
The M4, wow.
Yes.
Okay. And why? I mean, would you recommend anybody to pick the M4 over these two?
It all depends what you want. This M4 can be a highway monster. It doesn't take much modifications to make it very quick.
Okay.
Why would I choose the M4 over the M2 CS? Probably size. If I wanted a more daily driver, one single car that can do it all, track, going to the groceries or driving around town, I would probably take the M4 over the M2 CS.
Out of these three cars, if they were all stock on the track, which one will post the faster time?
The M2 CS will post a faster time.
Is it just because it's lighter?
No, not necessarily. I think the technology that comes behind it, the size, the balance of it, the suspension, and everything combined.
And like straight line performance?
I think the stock, the M2 CS will win.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, interesting. And this one is not stock, obviously, right?
No, this one has a JB4 tune and a downpipe tune for now.
Again, how much horsepower is it?
Around 500 wheel horsepower and 550 wheel torque.
For just those three mods?
Yes.
Wow. Stock they are like 440, right?
They're 425 and 406 pounds of torque.
So he gained over 150 horsepower.
No, around 75 wheel horsepower.
So it's 440 to the crank.
Well, BMW rated at 425 in the engine, but it's always SAE rating, so these cars have dyno way higher than that, and usually they dyno at what BMW states in the engine. So this car dynos
so like
425 wheel,
okay.
to the wheel.
Then that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Like it's making 550. Okay, over the three months.
550 torque and 500 wheel horsepower.
500. Wow, that's pretty impressive. And they have like a 3.2 seconds 0 to 60, I believe. Stop.
No, so 0-60 could be around 3.9-ish. With the mods done to the car, you could probably about 3.7, 3.6, high 3.6s.
So this is the weird thing. My RS5, I mean, we changed this subject a little. My RS5 Audi rates it at 3.9, but I was able to. The faster I was able to get was 3.6 stock. So, I mean, obviously, it's all-wheel drive, and this one, rear-wheel drive, if you can't put the power down, you might not see those numbers.
That is correct. Those numbers are usually done on a prep track surface, not on a street, on the streets.
And so, if someone is looking to buy a BMW M performance car, coupe, which one out of the three would you recommend them to buy? If they want something that combines straight line performance and trackability.
I mean, it depends what you want, but if I had one choice between all three cars and it was strictly for performance, I would go with the M2 CS.
The M2 CS?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Well, thank you very much for answering.
Thank you.